to Sri Rama Bharati Public School. I, Aarti, your English educator, is back with a new topic. So, let's begin.
So, today we will start Chapter 3, A Country Childhood. This is an excerpt from the biography of Nelson Mandela. He was a South African revolutionary political leader who served as a president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was the first black head and first elected in fully representative democratic election. So let's read this out and find out how his childhood was. My mother presided over 3 huts at Kuno. As I remember, these were always filled with the babies and children of my relatives. In fact, I hardly recall any moment as a child when I was alone. In African culture, the sons and daughters of one's aunts or uncles are brothers and sisters, not cousins. We have no half brothers or half sisters, or aunts or uncles. My mother's sister is my mother. My uncle's son is my brother. My brother's child is my son. So, in this paragraph, the author is telling us or informing us about how the African culture used to get treated their cousins, how was the culture of Africa has a relationship, like how do they manage their relationship. In Africa, there is no one called cousin. All the brothers and sisters are only brothers and sisters. There is nothing called siblings or cousins there. Alright, so here in this paragraph, it is written about the relationship, the bonding of family in Africa. Of my mother's 3 huts, one was used for cooking, one for sleeping, and one for storage. In the hut in which we slept, there was no furniture in the proper sense. We slept on mats and sat on the ground. I did not discover pillows until much later. My mother cooked food in a 3-legged iron pot over an open fire in the center of the hut or outside. Everything we ate, we grew and made ourselves. From an early age, I spent most of my free time in the veld, playing and fighting with the other boys of the village. At night, I shared my food and blanket with these same boys. I was no more than 5 when I started looking after sheep and calves in the field. I learned to gather wild honey, fruits. So in these lines, again, it's given about his childhood, how their houses used to be, how his mother used to cook food, what are the games and what are the things he used to do when he was very small. Like in these lines, if you will see, it's mentioned here that I spent most of my free time in the veld, playing and fighting with the other boys of the village. At night, I shared my food and blanket with the same boys. Like the same group of boys with they used to play, same group of boys they used to sleep with. Alright, so there is nothing called fighting, the serious fight, the way we all have in our childhood, right? We fight and after some time we forget that we have fought. So this is how his childhood was also. Few words which is mentioned here. Apartheid. It is a system of separating people according to race or color. Presided over. Here, managed. Veld, open grassland in South Africa. Important words, you should definitely learn this. I could swim in the clear, cold streams and catch fish with strong thread and sharpened bits of wire. I also learned to stick fight. I learned to love the veld, the open spaces, the simple beauties of nature, the clean line of the horizon. As boys, we were mostly left to ourselves. We played with toys that we made ourselves. We made animals and birds out of clay. We made ox drawn sledges out of tree branches. Nature was our playground. We sat on flat stones and slid down the face of the large rocks. We did this until our backsides were so sore we could hardly sit down. I learned to ride atop calves after being thrown to the ground several times. One got the hang of it. So again, here in these paragraph, author is telling us about how he used to spend time in his childhood. How just a 5-year-old learned how to catch fish, how to even catch honey and edible roots from forest. At, in that very tender age, he learned all those, he used to do all those small things, like he used to enjoy beauty of nature. He used to enjoy, watching the clean line of the horizon. Clean line of the horizon is a place. Clean line of the horizon means the line where the land and the sky seems to meet. Chitij, right? When you stand in an open ground, you will see there is a line where it seems like sky and the land is meeting, though they are not, but it seems like, right? So that is clean line of the horizon. So in very early age, he started realizing the beauty of nature. Why? Because he used to spend most of the time with nature, right? He used to play with trees, he used to play with animals. So that's how his childhood was. We will read further in next video.